Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. I hope you've all had a restful, enjoyable, and safe half term with your families. So I wanted to just record a quick message for you all today so that everybody is really clear on what our aims are for this term and what our changes are to ensure that we continue to keep our community as safe as possible for everybody. Now, last term, if you remember, we had the aim of ensuring that we got everybody back to the academy, our whole community, in a safe, positive and successful manner. And certainly that is what we achieved. And there were many positives to share and there were many success stories to shout about and talk about during last half term. So that aim continues as we move into our second half term of this academic year, in that we want to continue to bring our community back to the academy in a safe manner, in a positive manner, and in a successful manner. And I think one of the reasons we did that so successfully last half term was because we all supported, we were all kind, and we were all considerate. And that's of ourselves and of each other. So that support, that kindness and that consideration of everybody within our community is going to be really important to ensure that we continue to come back positively, safely and successfully. Now, I'm sure that you will be aware of the most recent government updates which took place over the weekend. And obviously with that update comes some national changes with a new national lockdown being put in place from Thursday this week until the 2nd of December. Now, currently for schools are still open and we will still continue to operate as we did prior to half term. But there are, as you know, a few changes. And these are changes that we talked about before we actually went on our half-term break. So important things for all of us as we come back today are wearing of face coverings. So wearing of face coverings is now mandatory in the academy, and that is in all communal areas. The simplest way for you to think about this as students is that when you are in your classroom and you're sat down in your seat, you don't need to wear your face covering. At all other times though, when you're moving around the academy, during unstructured time, whether you're inside or outside, you need to be wearing your face covering. At unstructured time, when you're sat down to eat or drink, of course you can remove your face covering to allow you to do that. But at all other times, you need to be wearing those face coverings, and that's to protect yourself and to protect everybody around you and the community. By face coverings, we mean either a surgical mask or a cloth face mask that's sensible, so no unsuitable pictures, no unsuitable text. We do have some spare masks in the academy and we will distribute those to students if needed. Now, there are some students and some staff who will be exempt from wearing face coverings, and again, that's in line with government guidance. For those staff and students, they will carry a card in their lanyard which explains that they are exempt from wearing that face covering. So as I've just mentioned, lanyards are another new change for most students. Post-16 already have their lanyards and need to continue to wear them. But today, all students will receive a lanyard. There is a particular colour for each year group. And again, that's so we can easily identify each year group bubble and we can ensure that we absolutely reduce and minimise any contact or any crossing of bubbles during the academy day. So your lanyard is now part of your school uniform, so it is an absolute expectation that you're wearing that at all times when on academy site. And if you are exempt from wearing a face covering in line with government guidance, then you will also get issued with today just a small exemption card to pop into your lanyard so that you can show that to anybody should you need to. We've spoken a little bit about unstructured time, and your tutors will go through with you the new arrangements around unstructured time. There's some slight changes to where students are going to go, and the majority of that is because we're now closing off the field, because we're coming into those winter months where the field gets very wet, very boggy. So it does mean that we need to make alternative arrangements for some year groups. So your tutors have been through that prior to the half-term break, and they will go through that with you again today so that you're very clear on those arrangements for unstructured time. Something else which is really important at all times is our distancing. We need to keep our distance from each other throughout the academy day. So at unstructured time, when we're moving around the academy, we really need to be aiming to keep that 2 meters distance, or 1 meter plus distance at least, from our friends, from members of staff, etc. And that's to protect you, and it's to protect everybody else. So even during those unstructured times when we're sat down in our groups or we're stood talking to each other, we need to make sure that we're increasing our distance, we're increasing the space between us. And we know that's really unnatural, it's not what we would normally do, but we do need to ensure that we do that now moving forwards as much as possible. And staff will remind you of that when you're moving around the academy and in unstructured time as well. And if you're asked to move so that you've got more space between you, then you do need to follow that instruction. It's really, really important. So also we are going into now colder months as we move into the winter from the autumn. And as we said to you prior to half term, you need to make sure that you have got with you a suitable outdoor coat and clothing, because we will be, aiming to use outside areas at unstructured time as much as possible. So do make sure you've got a robust outdoor coat with you and outdoor clothing that you can use during that time. Also layer up. We do have to keep ventilation in classrooms. That's come from the government guidance, and we've got to keep the ventilation going. Of course, we'll have our heating on, but you do need to, make sure you're layered up. So using kind of plain vests or plain t-shirts under your uniform is a good trick to kind of keep you warmer when you're in PE kit. Using your blazer as another layer. Also, we've got the school fleeces that you can wear as well. So just making sure that you're layering up and you're keeping yourselves as warm as possible whilst you're on academy site. And that outdoor clothing for when you're outside at unstructured time is really important. So your tutors are going to go through all of these things with you as well, so that it's really, really clear for everybody from the start of today what those clear changes are. The biggest change, like we say, is probably that wearing of face coverings that we've all now got to get used to this week. So please do listen to what your tutors go through, listen to what staff are saying to you, so that we can all support each other, so that we can all show that kindness and consideration to everybody in the community. And if we do that, we're absolutely going to continue to be back in the academy in a safe, positive and successful manner. So have a really good first day back at the academy and a good first week, and I will speak to you all soon. Thank you.